Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for being God. We thank you for your mercy, your grace, your love, your joy, and your peace. We thank you for sending your only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, to the face of the earth, that he would be born of a woman, walk the face of the earth, and see all of our sins and trespass against the kingdom of heaven. And he would go to the cross, give up the life again, Lord, and be resurrected on the third day with all power in heaven and earth. We thank you, sweet Jesus, for going down the hill and taking the sting out of death and releasing the captives. We praise you, we glorify, and we magnify your holy name. We thank you for being our increase. We thank you for being our portion. We thank you for being our bread of heaven. It's in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost we pray. Bless our conversation. Save someone's soul. Touch their heart, their mind, and their body. Allow us to be good stewards over the blessings that you've given us and is about to give us even more. These things in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, River, it's your turn. You can give us the title of your first article.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Our first article is titled Central Bank, the project to delete the zeros from the currency base and will be announced as soon as government approval. Description of the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of the appearance of Mohammed Salah project to delete 3 zeros from the currency as being strategic for the country will reduce the mass of cash circulating in the local markets. Salah said in a press statement, the central bank exceeded the advanced stages in the preparation of studies and logistical preparations for the mission project to delete the 3 zeros from the currency and within a specific time frame as the draft reform of the Iraqi currency. He added that in the event of obtaining approval by the central government on the implementation of the project, work will be on the tactical level and higher will be the announcement of the implementation and contract with advertising company and the media to educate citizens on how to use the new currency and to answer all questions raised by him. He said that the ongoing meetings with the relevant committees in both houses of the Iraqi economy ministers, MPs, and we are now awaiting approval from them to get to the final stages of implementation of the project.
Okay.
And I'm done.
Yes, ma'am. That article there, Monica, is the one that kicked me off early in the week. I really enjoyed it because he didn't pull any punches. He actually told us that he's going to give us our RV. Well, 86 cents. He's going to pull the zeros, and it's still a reevaluation, but it's not the big one that's going to come about 4 to 5 days following that. River, I apologize. River, I called you Monica. I'm sorry.
That's
Both
okay. I know who you mean.
I apologize. But I'm so much thinking about these articles because they mean so much, and they go right along with intel that we've been receiving. This man is telling the world, okay, this is Shalaby's number 2. And we started talking to everybody a few weeks ago, and it's going to be this ongoing series, things about black marketing of the currency and things of that nature. So now Shalaby is getting impatient because he don't want anybody to sink his economy through the black marketing of his currency and things of that nature. So first, Shalaby stands up and gives this speech earlier in the week. I think it was Monday or Tuesday, River. Is that correct when this article came out?
Yes.
Okay, so I was jumping up and down because I understood why. And I'd been telling everybody, even on the call before then, that Shabibi has to take some type of action because if he allows him to continue to black market his currency, it will damage his economy. And inflation is already high, okay? So he can't tolerate that. So now they're starting to tell the world, okay, here it comes. We're getting ready to drop the 3 zeros. We're warning you. We're using advertising agency to teach our people, to teach the companies. We're doing different things to teach the people, to educate the people to it, and that process is done. I want everybody to know that I'm through with that. Here it comes. We're going to wait until the final body. And it's before them already, and I have to be positive, and I know for a fact that it's done. We're just waiting. Okay? So that's what he's saying. The 3 zeros are completed. I'm in a bind, and I need to drop them off my currency, and let's be done with it. So he's serving notice to everybody. He wants companies to know it. He wants regular people to know it and be prepared for what's coming next. Okay.
Okay, you ready for the second one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the title, and y'all, I will post these articles in the chat room as soon as we get done reading and discuss them, so everybody can go back and reread them for themselves if they want to, in case they may have missed them during the week. The second article, Central Bank, the counterfeit currency is a media statements. Detect Iraqi central bank governor of the bank during the coming period to cancel the zeros of the Iraqi currency in order to absorb the inflation of the Iraqi market, as well as reducing the size of the Iraqi currency currently in circulation, is an existing project will see the light in the coming days after the completion of it, pointing out that there is an integrated study on the matter, and in the final stages of discussion, the decision was taken and must be submitted to the relevant authorities for the purpose of legislation by the House of Representatives and the Council of Ministers. Dr. Shabibi, in an exclusive interview with the People, shall be published later that the removal of the zeros from the Iraqi currency at the moment was inevitable and will contribute to facilitate the work of the government and Al-Tharat real current economic situation, stressing that it will be canceled. 3 zeros from the currency will be printed, 6 to 7 categories of new Iraqi cash. Shabibi said that the central bank supervision and the role of sergeant on the performance of all government and private banks, and is also evaluating its performance on a regular basis, which improves the performance of the banking system. In his view of the federal budget, which passed last week, Shabibi noted that its budget ambition and budget execution properly is the one who will create some sort of supply, and which will therefore reduce the rate of inflation happening in the country and not to influence the economic stability, and needs to be an act of solidarity significant of all. And the size of the money presented by the central bank in the Iraqi market, said the governor that he was more than $150 million, and I think that's supposed to be million, on a daily basis, and are purchased by the government and private banks and is subject to constant monitoring and supervision by the Central Bank of Iraq. On the other hand, denied Shabibi the existence of any negative economic impact on the spread of counterfeit currency in the local market in Iraq, noting that the issue of counterfeiting was given a size bigger than true to size, explaining that the process of fraud are almost non-existent in the market, and there was a fraud, he is by people specific and does not affect the money supply in the domestic market in any way, and that the bank has the financial capacity of the enormous, and that through which it can influence a course of the domestic market, saying, we are preparing the largest player in the domestic market and control the course of events in economic terms, and I confirm that the currency issue false statements to the media is just to change my actual facts and not on the ground and have no real impact on real perspective.
Sweet.
And that's it.
Sweet. Okay. On this second letter, this article, this is why I asked Peru to read it. It's because he tried to soften the blow of what Chalet put out. So this is Shabibi speaking, the boss. And believe me, he was not surprised by what Chalet said. He told Chalet to say that. And then he came back and tried to soften the blow. Because earlier this week, the World Bank started pushing him even harder to get this thing done. So now you're having Shabibi telling everybody, yes, we're going to do it, and we're getting ready to release those 7 different categories of currencies. Okay? I think they're 1, 10, 20, 50, but whatever denominations they are, they're all low. So they're done, and they're ready. So step by step, they're telling us the things that we've already known. You know, I'm not going to tell you guys anything new. I just want everybody to participate in watching Iraq knock the dominoes down. And if you've ever been involved in a call that Wang Dang's been involved in, I keep putting up the same information and out the same information. Because when your intel is correct, that's what you're going to do. You're going to knock down the dominoes as they're put in front of you. And Shabibi's doing it for us. Okay, so now we said that the smart cards are coming. We're going to see them shortly. And as soon as we see those cards, or as soon as we see the zeros drop, they're going to have the cards. They're going to be in a matter of hours of each other or a day of each other. Those cards may be out to the people and then loaded, or we may have the zeros drop, and the people receive the cards shortly thereafter. But it's going to be not a day apart, okay? So that's what I've been getting everybody ready for. And all these articles are falling into place now. There was another article this week talk about the economists talked about the economic changes in Iraq and the electronic distribution of money. And I didn't want to read that one because this one's powerful and I could tell it to you. You can go look it up. They give us 3 electronic ways that money can be transferred out of Iraq. And the second one was the smart card. And the author of the letter said, this is the dominant and the smartest way to give the Iraqis money and to pay their international bills. That's what the smart card. And that all came out Thursday. So anybody want to go check it can find it at newshound.com, or there was another, I think Al-Shabibi had it also. So it talked about the electronic technologies and the way that they would transfer money both in and out of the country. And they gave 3 main ways to do it. The smart card was number 2. And the author is also one of Shabibi's underlings, and he said that this would be happening shortly. Okay? So all this information is coming out of the central bank, and they're not playing with it. Okay? So back to the article that River just read. Again, Shabibi is trying to soften the blow of what Chalet had put out on Monday or Tuesday and making it an affirmation saying, yes, I told him to say it, and yes, we are getting ready to drop the 3 zeros now. Okay? Chalet's article said, I think in the weeks to come, and Shabibi at the end of that article said in a few days or vice versa in those 2 articles. So the time period, I hope I'm saying that right, River, but the time period has changed from a couple weeks to a few days. And when they start using the word days, you can start equating that to hours. So we're going to see these cards soon. I mean very soon. And when we see them, we're going to see the 86 cents. All right? So I'm telling you guys, let's just continue to watch them knock down the dominoes. And I'm not going to tell you anything new except the intel that we get. And I want everybody to watch us, watch them fall. Okay? You've never known me to be sensational or anything of that nature. I've always given us information that we can see happen. So, okay, I've always said we get the 86 cents first. Here comes the 3 zeros. That's all they've been talking about for a week and a half straight, is removing the 3 zeros. I said we're going to get the smart cards last week. That's what the intel gave us. And guess what's getting ready to come out? We're getting ready to get the smart cards. They had an article on it, and it talked about the 3 ways to exchange money electronically. I just talked about that. So I want to keep refreshing your memory. And when I say these things, I'm not being vain. But through the grace of God, you have to remind his people of his promises. And people forget and get worried. And God has already gave them the answer and the victory. So that's why I keep rehashing, rediscussing the same things. When you are dealing in facts, you don't have to say anything new. You just keep saying the same thing until the people get the right information. Okay, River, I'm ready. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, this last article here is about Talabani and what an absolutely wonderful guy he is. I just love Talabani. I want to meet him.
Yes, he's awesome.
Yes, he is. Okay, for the first time, a Kurd heads Arab summit. Jalal Talabani, the president of Iraq, will be the first Kurd to head the Arab summit in the history of Iraq. In a country still gripped by sectarian tensions and where Arabs make up the majority, having a Kurd as president evokes different reactions on the streets of Baghdad. Sayla Janabi is proud of President Talabani and believes he is a serious man. As an Iraqi, I welcome Talabani as the president, and we are proud of him because he is always successful in his duties, he said. We consider him to be a man of peace who seriously solves the problems of Iraqis without bias. He is also quick to settle differences between groups and parties in Iraq without boredom or fatigue. Radi Shanan, 41, a resident of a southern city of Nasiriyah, hopes that Talabani will pay attention to the people of the South so that they feel he is the president of all Iraqis. We accepted him as our president, but I hope to see him visit the southern provinces of Nasiriyah, Al-Dawaniyah, or Basra, she said. He only moves around Baghdad, Salamani, and Erbil. He needs to visit the South at least as a compliant and to make it feel that he is the president of all of Iraq. In a despairing tone, Amir Fayed from Basra told Rudol that he believes the president reflects Kurdish interests more than anything else. Our president is a Kurd and will remain a Kurd, he said. He did not come through elections because we did not vote for his nomination as our president. Positions are divided among political parties, Fayed added. No one did anything for us, and we don't expect anything from the president either. He is only interested in the issue of Kirkuk. Talabani is the 7th president of the Republic of Iraq and the 2nd president since the U.S. invasion in 2003. He was chosen as the head of the Iraqi transitional government in 2005 and as president a year later. The Iraqi parliament re-elected Talabani as president for a new term of 4 years in November 2010. Alwan, a government employee in Baghdad, believes Talabani is an honorable person who can lead Iraq and head the upcoming summit. Alwan sees the holding of an Arab summit in the current circumstances as an achievement for the country. First of all, it is an honor for us to hold this summit in Iraq at this time, he said. The question of whether the president is a Kurd or not is not an issue. On the contrary, this is a positive thing. First and foremost, he is an Iraqi citizen. According to political analyst Haider Hussein, President Talabani is a person of extraordinary abilities, but the Iraqi constitution has limited his powers and reduced him to a spectator. The Constitution turned the president into a spectator who has no power over events, he told Rudolph. He is shackled with very limited powers. He only has the ability to prevent the collapse of the fragile political process. Hussein added, Talabani is the only president who is capable of telling jokes among Iraqi and Arab leaders and his predecessors. This has added a simplicity to his character and closeness to the public, while his predecessors were tyrants and surrounded by an aura of fear and terror.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, River. River, what did he say his primary focus was? That he could stop the collapse of the government through a political process, right?
Exactly.
Did I say that right?
I'd actually like to read that
again
because I hope people... He is shackled with very limited powers. He only has the ability to prevent the collapse of the fragile political process. That's huge.
That is. River, how many times in your since you've known me over the last 6-7 months and heard me that I've said that?
More than I can remember, Wayne.
Okay. Talabani, this is what I want to tell everybody again. I told everybody about 3 weeks ago on a call if you listen. Talabani is the elderly statesman, and I equated him to our Teddy Kennedy that used to run the Senate. Okay? This dude is so powerful, and he is so humble. He has a following that can just totally rearrange that country if he was vain. Okay? If he wanted to just throw his country into total chaos, he could have been done that. But this man loves Iraq just like Alawi and wants to see the people flourish and for them to enjoy their wealth. Now, I asked River to please read this article because it wasn't a part of our agenda at first. And the reason I asked for that was because I want everybody to see the connection and understand that this Kurd, okay, one of the most powerful men in that country, is going to be the president or the head of the Arab Summit, okay? And that's a major feat, all right? He already comes from a minority that not too many people like. But he is so well respected. He could sit at the table with all these different ethnic groups and crack on each one of them, and nobody's going to get offended. That's power, that's knowing people, and that's always having done the right things. So it gives you credibility amongst good men. Okay? So that's the type of man we're dealing with. And I've been telling everybody that Kurds are our friends. He is the leader of the Kurds. Our intel keeps telling us, our source keeps telling us, the Kurds are going to give us what we want. Okay? Now, I asked River to read that again for another reason. Whenever you see a head, the president, Talibani, and the leader of the Kurds in the political bloc separate himself from their national politics to get involved in a regional politics of a summit, his duties are complete. And I've been telling everybody, Talibani had all the ammo he needed before he went for the back surgery in Germany. I said it over and over. Maliki's number 2 came out and tried to prevent it and actually gave us the real information by saying that Talibani had all of the political bloc signatures on his initiatives before he went to Germany. Okay? Because I gave the community that Talibani was supposed to come and give us a major announcement from our source. Okay? And then the next day, abruptly, he went to Germany for the back surgery. So this guy has his plan set in motion. Everybody's agreed on his initiatives, which are HCL and Urban. So for him to step out of the national politics right now and get involved with leading the Arab Summit, that should tell everybody in our community he feels good about where he has Iraq right now. So, again, I'm going to say, all we're doing is waiting for these people to get into their national meeting now. Okay? And they keep trying to put it off, but Maliki's not going to win. So I'm sure they have a particular number of days before that conference or that summit that they have to have that money and they have to have the security right in that country before the other Arab leaders come there. And that was a part of the reason it was canceled last year, both the security and Iraq not having control of its own finances. Okay? So know that Taliban would not put more things on his plate or issues of this magnitude on his plate without having his agreements settled and solved. Okay? He's not that type of person. And I gave you guys a lot of history on Talibani, Bazaini, Alawi over the last year. And I'm going to tell you guys again, Talibani is one of the most powerful of 5 men in Iraq, in the whole country. And none of the other 4 will say a bad word about him. Okay? Maliki won't try him. If Malik is in the same arena with this dude shuts him down. Okay? So Talibani, again, is the elderly statesman. He's going to get what he wants, and he's going to give us Herbal and HCL. Okay? And if we get HCL, we're going to get 86 cents. And that's just what the Constitution provides the budget for HCL. If he opens it up, it's going to be 86 cents to $1.13. Okay? So, having said all that, River Girl, I want to thank you again because I get excited when I think about this stuff. I know how close we are, and I just want people to understand we have to patiently watch the dominoes fall and connect the dots. Okay? So we're getting ready to see the smart cards come out. We're going to see the dropping of the zeros. That's going to bring us 86 cents because we're going to see a 50 dinar note come out. And they already told us that's 43 US dollars to one dinar. So that equates to 86 cents. So either way you slice it, we're going to get the same exact things. We're going to see Herbal come out, and they're going to see Alawi, and he's going to see the three ministers, and we'll have a full-blown RV. Okay? And I've always said it's going to be 420, okay, on the RV. And if not, we're going to see the Kurds force the budget open. And when the budget's forced open, we're going to see how money comes when they start paying their oil bills, 86 cents to $1.13. Okay? And if not, the third prong is the new one. In the last 2 weeks, we got it from Parliament. The Parliament said they complete the process of lifting the 3 zeros and turn it over to Malik. If we see the 3 zeros lifted, that's 86 cents also. So I'm placing a sense of urgency on this today. This thing is getting ready to come to an end. Get your affairs in order and have a plan. I know you guys heard me say this before, and I'm going to continue to say it until this process is over, which is not going to be much longer. Okay? So when we see these people get in that national meeting, you can be assured that we heard from Talibani. Now, here's this powerful guy again. He told us about 3 weeks ago. He said he is not going to come out of the national conference and national meeting, which Malik had changed it to, without HCL and Herbal. We heard from Alawi. Alawi said he is not going to come out of this national conference or national meeting without HCL and Herbal. Okay? That's the reason for the delay. Two of the most powerful men in this country are not backing up. Maliki has nowhere else to go, and we're getting ready to get our money. Okay? I want to say it over and over so somebody can blame me if they don't think it's happening fast enough. This thing is getting ready to come to an end. And I want everybody to be prepared to have themselves a plan to protect them, their families, and their newfound wealth. Okay? Having said all that, River, you can have the floor, say whatever you want, and after that we'll go into Q&A.
Wayne Dang, I'm going to leave it up to you. I think these folks on this call are excited to hear what you have to say. I will say, I think just from looking in the room and a lot of the currency and bank articles that we saw this week, I think everybody's really excited about all of those, but we have so many conflicting articles about this conference that's coming up and whether or not it's going to be before or after, and this name-calling that's going on between these political blocs to decide whether to have it before or after the summit. What are your thoughts on that?
To me, that's easy. I want everybody to understand. If Iraq doesn't have the security right and the currency and their own money, no other Arab country is coming to visit those people during that summit. They're not going to do it. Okay? I told everybody that last year, and sure as my skin is brown and God is good to me, they canceled the summit, and the main reason the dude out of Saudi Arabia gave them was security and the fact that they did not have control of their own financial well-being. Okay? And the same thing is going to happen this time. If Iraq doesn't have the security done in their own country, the summit is not going to occur. So we will have our national meeting and our conference, whatever one you want to call it, before that summit. Okay? So that I'm sure of, River, and I can't force them to put it to bed, but they need to put it to bed. I was right through the grace of God last year, and I'm going to be right again this year. Those guys are too vain to visit somebody's house and know that they don't have their finances in order. They're not going to do it, okay? That's just the way the AFs operate. They're not going to do it, okay?
I agree.
I hope that suffices. And first caller, 530.
Hi, Wing Ding. Happy Saturday to you. It's Susan.
Hi, Susan. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I have 2 points of interest I'd like to ask about, and I know that we're on both of these subjects. The first one has to do with this conference coming up. There are one of the gurus that feels that this conference will be canceled. And I know that, most of us in this speculation are hoping that happens, and for obvious reasons. But I wanted to ask what your thought on the possibility of that happening might be.
What conference would be canceled?
The Arab Summit.
Oh, the Arab Summit.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Do you think that's a possibility?
Yes, it's a possibility. But is it probable? No. I think that Iraq's going to go ahead and give us the 86 cents first and 4 days RV, just like I've been saying for the last month.
Right, okay? I know you have.
But the thing is, though, that's controlling that is they need to get in a national conference or meeting real quick, which is not going to take long because Talabani, Alawi, Maliki, all them guys already solved those issues. Barzani, all of them, they've already solved the issues, okay?
Okay.
They got it in writing, and it's done. All you have to do is give it to the world, okay? And then they can move on to their summit. But these guys are not going to let the Arab nations see them default 2 years in a row. Okay. Yeah, last year they could blame it on the United States because we were still that, and they did after they canceled the summit last year. Maliki blamed it because the U.S. troops were still present and that they were having issues with electronic banking. Okay,
sure.
which was garbage, but that was his excuse. When the prince of Saudi Arabia told the truth, they didn't have the security right and they wouldn't control their own finances.
All right.
So
I know they're a very, very proud people, and they wouldn't want to do that 2 years in a row, and that was the only point of, contention I thought would allow it to continue on as planned rather than be canceled and postponed. I mean, no nation likes to have egg on their face 1 year, let alone 2.
Yeah, but last year we were the scapegoat. They made the United States the scapegoat.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I think that it's going to go on their schedule, and it's going to be after the national conference. It's going to be after we have our 86 cents. Most of us won't even be paying attention to it anymore.
Okay, great. The second thing has to do with, the fact that you have been telling us to get ready for our blessing, and, my husband and I have been very diligently trying to do that and get accounts open and get our, identity a little more obscured and get post office boxes and all that, and we have run into some very difficult situations in doing that. Number one, just obscuring our identity from our home address. We're having difficulty getting our driver's license changed to not be our home address. We've gone to our county recorder to try to get our address off our property into, and only judges and sheriffs and process servers and people like that can do it. We're having a little bit of difficulty getting all this in place. We've opened accounts only with, 2 of the major banks, only to be contacted by a private banking group that said that those accounts aren't necessary. They have their own accounts and will close those down for us. So in trying to be diligent and judicious about putting the stepping stones down and cornerstones down to be ready to receive this blessing, we have run into some major snags, and I was wondering if you have some plausible solutions for us.
Yeah, I do, but I don't. That's too personal on how you do that, because for me, it's simply going to be, I have a property now, and when this is for me. But after this RV occurs, I'm going into a temporary type of living for maybe 2 months, and then I'm going to purchase another property. Okay,
that's what we thought too.
So that's the way. No, that's not the way you have to do it. That's the way my wife and I have decided to do it over 6 years ago. We wrote these things down. Okay, and I do know that you're telling the truth because I was going to tell you to start at the local and city level, and the city through the city hall can help you with your address if you want to stay in the same residence. Okay.
Okay.
They have things that they can do, but other than that, I'm not going to advise anybody on how to protect themselves or their family because it's a personal thing, and as people, when you get involved at the bank, they're going to be able to help you with that, okay, with security issues. And they're going to suggest, when you get a lawyer, the lawyer's going to suggest a few things that you do that are simple to help you with your privacy, okay?
Okay. Oh, that's
so
good.
I'm not going to tell you how to do them, but I know that there's people that's going to be instructing you on those things, okay?
Okay. Well, the only thing that the county recorder suggested was they asked if we had any kind of an LLC or some sort of, and we haven't yet established that. We thought we would do that after the RV happened, and we could,
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. That's when I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it a minute sooner. I'm going to do it after this thing occurs, and I find out which direction I'm going with that, because there's other things I'm doing that won't require an LLC.
Exactly.
Okay?
Great. So, that was it, Wang Dang. Thank you. I just, I knew that we couldn't be the only people running into difficulty doing the things that we've been suggested to do. And, it's like we've run into a roadblock on every single thing we've stepped out to do.
Well, that's why I just want to tell everybody a simple step that we're going to take. We're going to leave our residence now, and we're going to be in temporary residence for 1-2 months, and then we're going to be in our new residence. And that's going to help you with a lot of with a lot of privacy issues, okay?
Great.
So
thank you so much.
And yes, ma'am, you're welcome. Next caller. 832.
Hello, Wang Dang?
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, who am I speaking to?
Hey, man, you're speaking with Old School from Houston, Texas. How you doing?
Hey, Old School, what's happening? You in my hometown. What's happening?
Well, I was just going to ask you where you're from because back in the day when that song was very popular, Wang Dang Do, I was in high school.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, how did you pick that name?
Okay, let me tell you, I love telling this story.
And by the way, that was by Coco Taylor.
Absolutely. And that's what I've been telling everybody, Old School. I know the origins of the song. I know everything. And Ted Nugent, people try to get involved with me. That's another story, but I'll tell you that later. But look, them Frenchmen say, my whole family's out of Opelousas, Louisiana. The Frenchmen say, my nana, that's my godmother.
Yep.
She kept me as a child because she thought my parents were too young. And until I got about 6-8 months old, then she gave me back to my parents because she thought they were too young to have a baby. So, but she said I used to raise hell all night long.
Oh.
And the Coco Taylor song talk about pitching a Wang Dang Doodle all night long,
That's right.
She nicknamed me Wang Dang,
Okay, well, listen, first of all, I want God to bless you and your family for all the work you do and all the people that are helping you do all this research and bringing all this information to us. We really appreciate it, and I wish God bless every one of you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
And now,
God bless you.
And then I got one question.
Please.
When are the ministers? When is this going to fit in with the ministers?
Okay, that's easy. Okay, Old School, look, when you see them announce that herbal's been activated, and that's one of the main tasks that Taliban undertook. When they say herbal's been activated, that means Alawi. Alawi is the guy that won the general election, okay, but couldn't take the seat of prime minister because of a rule that Saddam Hussein had placed inside the Constitution saying that the only person that could be the prime minister of the country had to be from the majority party, okay? So when Alawi won, he wasn't in the majority party, so he couldn't be seated, and Maliki had to keep the prime ministership, okay? So the United States entered into agreement with Taliban, Barzani, Alawi, and Maliki to have a conference at Erbil. So they went up to that Erbil, wrote this agreement called, I just drew a blank, Erbil, okay? They wrote the agreement at Erbil, and then inside this agreement, it said that, okay, Alawi would sit at the head of NCSP, okay? So that's to share power on the same plane with Maliki, which is the prime minister. And Alawi would have the right to seat the Interior, Defense, and Security Minister, okay?
Yeah, I knew that, yeah.
And once he seats those guys, he promised the whole world he'd have it done in 3 days. Once he seats those guys, Maliki has to stand up and announce that his government is complete. And when Maliki does that, Shabibi's going RV. Okay? And that's what the UN requirements are on Maliki.
So do you think this is going to be brought up in this national conference or national meeting they're going to have?
Absolutely. That's where Talibani said he's not coming out of the national conference without HCL.
And
HCL will give us 80% and Herbal. He said he's not going to do it. He's not
all right, man. Thank you again, and God bless you. And I'll go on to listen and give it to the next caller.
You're welcome. God bless you. Next caller, 214.
Hey, Wayne, dang, this is Mark from Dallas.
Who am I speaking to, Mark?
Yeah, this is Mark.
Hey, Mark. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Just to get some clarification on your opinion on this rate. So you basically believe that it comes out at 86 cents within days, maybe hits the $4 range. I guess my question is, why not just come out with that $4 range right off the bat?
Okay, because, Mark, you're looking at two different functions, okay? The 86 cents is going to be given to us by the dropping of the 3 zeros or Talibani and the Kurds through with the whole process and come on out with HCL, okay, and start paying up the oil bills and things of that nature. That gives us 86 cents, okay? The RV is by Maliki is a totally different function because that means he's signaling at the completion of his government. He seated his ministers. It's going to be a full-blown RV, and the value changes, okay? They're not going to come out at 86 cents at a full-blown RV, okay? They may just come out at the 321 plus the 20% and not 25 cents over Kuwait. And that puts it in the 412 range. But I've always said 420. Okay? So looking at two different functions. All right? If the 86 cents come out first, this is the reason I'm saying this. I know it's going to come out first, and I've been saying it. And right now they're giving us all the information to signal that it will. Okay? So they're going to remove the 3 zeros. We're going to be on 86 cents. Maliki is not going to go undone, okay, because they already got the agreement. Him, Talibani, Barzani, okay? So when the 86 cents hit the street, it's ferrled out. All of the currencies start coming in. I'm looking for 4 days after from people in the know that the RV occurred. That Maliki announced to the world he's got his full-blown government and he RVs his currency, okay?
Well,
and now, listen, Mark, this is another good thing, Mark. I guarantee you that when that 86 cent hit the street, Iraq's going to get a hot phone call from the IMF. And the IMF is going to tell them, okay, we got the handlebars now. Let me put the gas on the scooter. And they're going to start ramping that 86 cents up. It's not going to sit there for a matter of hours at 86 cents and stay there. And that's why...
Wayne, I have heard other gurus mention this 86 to $1.17 kind of range, but I've also heard longer time period, like 6 months, year and a half before you even get up to that $3 range. And I say $3 range.
Okay, and that's something that they're absolutely wrong about, and I feel comfortable with saying that, because the IMF values your money on your country's resources, okay? And Iraq has the world's largest reserve of oil and possibly is second or the fourth largest in natural gas. And now, just maybe 3 weeks ago, they struck gold. So this place is abundantly wealthy, all right? And the IMF have already told them they're not going to sit back and let that currency be stagnant. And they're going to take the handlebars, the reins on this thing, and they're going to move that currency up. So I'm not a guru, and I hate that word, but I do absolutely know what I'm saying. So we're going to see the currency move fast, and it's not going to take us a year to get anywhere, okay? Because you're talking about one of the richest countries in the world.
And one last follow-up question. Where
Yes.
do they come up with the money to even pay, let's just say, a $3 to $4 range on all the dinar that's out there?
Okay. No, I'm laughing at myself. But I love, you told me all these, did somebody tell you to call me? You told me all these softballs. Did somebody put you up to calling me?
No.
Okay.
I'm a first-time caller.
Okay. Look, Mark. All right. These people had $27 trillion in circulation when the currency was worth 3.21. I want you to do the math because when I sit down with really smart people, I provoke them. And then after a while they stop talking when I prove my point. Okay. So they had $27 trillion in circulation before the country's wealth and in circulation before we shut the currency down, okay? Think about that. $27 trillion. Okay? That's what they would figure they had in circulation and was worth. Okay? So that was before they were known to be the world's third largest reserve of oil, okay, in the entire world. All right? That was before they struck gold, okay? And that was before we shut down their currency and made it worthless, okay? Now, this is the key. The only thing that changed are all in our favor, okay? First, they have the world's largest reserve of oil and possibly third or fourth in natural gas, okay? The only way that they lost the value that they already were worth was that the United States, the UN, and the World Bank turned the currency off, okay? That don't mean they lost their money. That don't mean their wealth went anywhere. They still have all that wealth. And now they only have thought to be, by the people that know, 9 to 11 trillion in circulation, okay? So you go ahead and subtract that 11 trillion from the 27 trillion, okay? Tell them what's left over, and then figure out that they've moved from the world's third largest to the first largest oil reserve, okay? And now we haven't discussed the $210 billion stashed in the bank, one bank in New York City, another $50 to $70 billion in another bank in New York City, and they have billions of dollars all over this world. France has some. When the United States sought to shut down their currency, they had to contact Switzerland, France, Germany, just about every major financial player in this world. These people got money stashed away everywhere.
Well, Wayne Dang, aren't we talking hundreds of trillions of dollars at a $4 RV?
Oh, easy. But these people, no, not hundreds of trillions. I'd give you maybe 40 trillion, somewhere in that area. And they're easily worth that, okay? Because if you just go ahead and put 20%, and this is the killer, where I catch a lot of those economists and they start loving me. You put 20% on appreciation on that 27 trillion, that we shut it off. And that could pay for anything that you want. Okay? The UN gave them 20% on the 321 to come out at. That'll cover all the money we have to mark alone. So you have to think and stop listening to these naysayers or the ones that are poorly educated. Just the 20% alone that the IMF allowed them to attach to that 321 is enough to cover just about any number they want to come out at. Okay?
Okay.
So think about that. Do the math. Make yourself laugh and say that rotten rascal is right. So just figure out 20% appreciation on 27 trillion, and there's only 9 to 11 trillion in circulation of the new currency. Okay?
Right.
Worldwide. And that should blow your mind. That should help you sleep well tonight.
Thank you, Wayne Dang, for taking my question.
You're awesome. All right, thank you, Mark. I thought you were joking with me at first.
No.
But you were serious.
Yeah.
All right. I greatly appreciate you, and God bless you. Next caller. 734.
Greetings. Hi, Wayne Dang. This is Anise from Michigan.
Hi, Anise. Your voice is familiar. That's the third time I talked to you. Good to talk to you.
That's right. I'm a regular. And what's so good about being a regular is that you get educated. Because sometimes when you hear other people ask a question, you be knowing the answer because you remember how you explained it the last time.
Yay! And Anise, Anise, when you're being truthful and you're honest, the answer never changes. I can do this for 10 years, God forbid, but the answer would never change. I know I don't have. I can't say that. I was fit to say something naughty, but I know we don't have very long left.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. Now, this is what I understand about the Kurds and the 86 cent and to $1 and 16, 13 cents. Now, this is what I want to know, Wayne Day. Now, after that happens and it's opened up and it's time for the RV 4 days later, how do you know it's going to be an RV instead of RI?
Okay, we don't. They can call it either or, but they're still going to add the 20% to it and cannot go 25 cents above Kuwait's dinar. So the terminology, the RI, the simple reinstatement, I'm not going to fuss with that because RIRB is just a starting point, and we know they can't go higher than 25 cents over Kuwait's dinar. Okay?
Okay, now let me ask you this. Now, you know how they said that Kuwait at one time went up to briefly $9 and then came right back down. So is this, once it does do the RI, or whatever it is it going to be steady or is it going to have spikes up and then go down?
My thoughts and all the numbers that I've seen and the things that I know about it, it's going to go from 421 starting to 512, and after that, I don't know. And how long it's going to take, I don't know. I'm just trying to stay in the realm with the numbers that I've seen and the part that I've been educated to. I don't want to go beyond that. I can't go beyond that. But there's nothing. These people are so wealthy, and I like telling people that we don't have an ideal. Not the common people don't have an ideal of how wealthy these people really are. They're filthy, low-down wealthy, Anise. They're not playing at being rich. They're rich for real. So when these numbers do come out, it's going to be a number to make the IMF and the World Bank comfortable in that region to where they don't throw it into chaos. And that's the whole thing. They may let Iraq do something just to show their power for a few hours. Who knows? But how many people are going to get to participate in it? I don't have any idea.
Now, that's the $1 million question right there.
Yes, ma'am. And I do know that 512 is not scary on the up end for anybody. But I do know that we're going to most likely be around the 412 to 420 mark.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. Listen, for me, the 86 cent is beautiful. So
you better believe it. I'm taking either one, Anise. I'm taking either one. Okay?
Now, why do you think these the other people they're saying that they see all this super high just way out, like $12 and $10. Yeah. Where does that come from, and I don't understand why people are saying that.
They're being sensational. What they're trying to do. You have a lot of truth tellers coming on the scene now through the grace of God, and it's starting to calm people's fears and let people know that we're close. So those guys that's banging that 1236 wagon are in the business. They're ripping people off. They're making people go buy these reserves and all this other garbage, Denise, and they're putting egg on their face. All right, because these people have made millions of dollars off the backs of people that are just trying to better the future for their family. And without the education, people kept going by these reserves month after month when we wasn't close enough and watching them go away. Some people was losing $1,800 to $3,700 a month, just out of their income, just wasting it on buying reserves. So I call those people rotten because I'm a pretty big boy, and if they confront me, I can protect myself. And they're doing bad things in the community. Okay, and I hate that kind of stuff. So they're just being sensational. All right.
Yeah, and it's not right too, because you have people who are new that will listen and believe it, and then think it's coming right this minute, and do those reserves, and they could be taken from their house note or their grocery money. And they thinking it's about to happen. So it's not fair. You got to be right towards people, because a lot of times people look up, they don't have the knowledge, they listen to the hype, and it really hurts people. It really does. So I'm so glad that you come on and thank your wife and everybody else who work with you, because we really appreciate good information based on not fluff, but knowledge.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll tell you something, niece. I've been saying it. Last week I told everybody we're getting ready to get the smart cards. We are. And for the last 2 or 3 months I've been talking about dropping of zeros and 86 cents and things of that nature. And now, in the last week and a half to 2 weeks, we've had Iraq confirming the fact that, yes, we're getting ready to drop the 3 zeros, yes. And some people saying September. I kept telling people, no, it's way before September, because the original articles that came out in the beginning of 2010, I think it's February or March 2010, stated that this process would start in 2012 and be completed by February 2013. Okay? So I know this to be true. So now the Iraqis are actually behind a couple months. So everything we see right now is supposed to be given to us at the end of last year. Okay? And we were not supposed to go into 2012 without having some part of that, the 86 cent and or the RV. It wasn't supposed to happen. And then again, we found Maliki stole $7 billion from the budget and all kind of stuff like that. So that's what I know to be true, and I know that we don't have much longer left. I would like. Well,
that's wonderful. I just want to tell you, you made a believe out of my husband, because he kept on telling me it's next year sometime, but after listening to you, he didn't accept the fact that we close to it, so that's a blessing right there.
Yes, ma'am. Did you tell him we were going to beat the brakes off of him like I told you?
That's right. Well, let me. This is my last quick question. How did Maliki get away if he done stole all this money? How does he get away with it? I mean, how does he get away with it and nobody checking his hand, or he not going to jail, or how do you be a crook like that and everybody know and nothing happens?
He's the prime minister of the country, and the union's going to get him, but it's probably going to be after he gets out of office. Okay, so just don't be concerned. He's going to get what he's got coming to him. And
because we all reap what we sow, don't we?
Yes, ma'am. And that's the main reason our source keeps saying that after we get the 86 cents, 4 days later we'll get the RV, because he's going to try and to put on a good face. He's going to try to make it look like he was really trying to support his country and do what was right for his country. So when we see that dropping of zeros, we're going to see that RV, because Malik is going to give it up.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Next caller. 712.
Hey, Wang Day.
Hey.
G, please, sir. How's it going?
G, please. What's happening, man?
Not much. I wasn't going. You've answered this. This is kind of a stupid question to ask now, but I've been wanting to ask you all week. Do you think? Do you think Shabibi could just get tired of this and just go ahead and RV it?
No, Shabibi can't, because he can't do anything without his government. What he can do for us, G, please, the only thing he can do for us is complete his government without Erbil being in place. Okay? He could seat those ministers if he can get Parliament to approve them. He could seat them and be done with it, announce the government complete, and then Shabibi would RV that currency. But he can't do anything on his own, because the UN will crucify him.
Okay. I just know, because I keep hearing all his articles where he said that he's going to do this and do that, and that's why I was going to ask you after I heard all this good information, but I thought, well, I already got it down, so I'm going to ask him anyway.
But G, please, you said something else. Let me help you with that. Because, look, Shabibi and the central bank can go ahead and give us the dropping of the zeros and give us the 86 cents, right? Because then the UN's going to restrict Maliki's behavior. Now, they can do that to save the economy. Okay? The UN's not going to stop them from doing that. Shabibi can do it. Okay? Shabibi could have been RV'd this thing if he wanted to, but he does not want to make Maliki a dictator. Okay? And I guarantee you, when Shabibi drops those 3 zeros, we're going to have herbal. Okay? And if we don't have herbal, Shabibi knows that the UN is going to roll in there and slap so many sanctions on Maliki that he's not going to be able to come within 10 foot of a dinar. Okay?
Well, I hope he does. I hope he does it then. So Maliki does get in that trouble.
Yeah, they're not going to make him a dictator. Believe me, Shabibi is working with the World Bank and the UN very closely.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, then.
It's good to hear from you, please.
You too.
Next caller. 662.
Hello, Wayne Dang. This is Catfish.
Hey, Catfish, what's happening, Mississippi?
It's good here. Good here.
What's on your mind, man?
It's all good. I'm going back here. I got too many people in here. I didn't want y'all to have to listen to all the background noise. We got football or basketball games and everything going on here. Look,
I was watching you drop that game. I was watching you drop that game earlier, man.
Oh, my goodness. That was a heartbreaker. Hey, look, my papa used to have, he whenever he had run across somebody that he termed or he believed was a smart aleck, and he liked to use that term a lot, but whenever he had somebody that was a smart aleck, he would ask the question. He said, do you know the difference between a gallon of milk and a loaf of bread? And, of course, they'd always answer no. And then he'd say, well, I won't ever send you to the store for a loaf of bread. So, look, all these folks, y'all that are following all the gurus that have been wrong, let's see, was it a dozen times, 2 or 3 dozen times been wrong since 2008? They've changed names like 10 times, and they're still not right. Come on, guys. Just follow peace with all men, and look, drop the gurus. We're going to drop the zeros from the dinar in a little while. Drop the gurus.
Because they ain't
please
enough
do. Okay. All right, look, and I had, I guess I'm rambling on, so I'm just going to get to
No, go ahead, keep rambling. You sound good.
All right. I've got this article that came in, and she read it at the beginning, and I don't know if a lot of people realize exactly what's going on, but that's two separate. You've brought it, and you've brought it to us several times, and it's been something that I've agreed with you on. The revaluation of the dinar, if the GOI doesn't play ball, and there's a difference between the GOI and the Parliament. I don't know if people know that, but if the GOI doesn't play ball and Maliki just sticks a rate out there and he exposes a rate of the dinar, it'll be 86 cents.
Yes, it will.
It'll be, and this is why. When they talk about the deletion of the zeros, for all of you out there, just get you a piece of paper and write down what the rate of the dinar is right now. It's 1,166 dinar to the dollar. Decimal point or period, 1166 period. If you move that decimal point 3 places to the left, or you do what the Central Bank of Iraq has said that they're going to do, and you move that decimal point or remove the zeros. You move that decimal point. You move that decimal point 3 places to the left, or remove 3 of those zeros. It becomes 1.166, or basically $1.7, or 1.166, or 1.17.
Round it up.
Or $1.17 to the dinar, and basically that's where the 86 cents comes from. Now that's the scenario that is where the dinar is just a rate is stuck out there by the Central Bank of Iraq because the government of Iraq couldn't get their act together. Absolutely. And that's the scenario where you've said the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, all of these former agreements actually come back on them, because whenever somebody releases you from your debt, you have to do certain things to get out from under that debt, and a lot of times you have to give them collateral, and if this dinar has been used as collateral to release them from the debt, guess what? Some of those debts may come back into play, and all hell's going to be rained down on the government.
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's going to be horrible. Or we could have the true rate of the dinar, whatever that is. I'm not going to parse words or argue with anybody about that there's a great rate out there, and the dinar is worth a whole lot more than it is right now, because that's an artificial rate or it's a program rate.
Absolutely.
But please, just drop the gurus and just wait. We're right here upon this thing. She read the article about the deletion of the zeros in the coming days, and she also said that how that the article talked about how that particular law is before Parliament.
Mm-hmm.
That's pressure that's being flipped right back on the government of Iraq and the Parliament to get your job done. Because if you remember, they were putting pressure on the CBI. Look, we need you to delete the zeros like you told us you were going to do when you came before the Finance Committee, or we need you to delete the zeros like you talked about whenever you addressed Parliament. Or what's this Mohammed Salah has been saying about deleting the zeros? And what's this you said it's going to help inflation? Well, if it'll help inflation, then just why don't you go ahead and do that? Well, this is the Central Bank of Iraq just turning it right back around and putting pressure on them. You're awesome. You do a wonderful job. And to all of you out here who have not been in this investment for a very long time, a month, 6 months, a year, look, this is a legitimate investment. Just hang on for a little bit. Don't do anything stupid. Just hold on. Be at peace. Fear not. When Jesus Christ left this earth, he said, "My peace I leave with you." That was his last will and testament. My peace I leave with you. Y'all be at peace about this.
Yes. Oh, Catfish, you keep going. I'm enjoying it. You keep going. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Wayne, you are a patriot. Thank you for your service to our country. I know I say that every time, and I'm not, just because I say it every time doesn't mean that I don't mean it with 100% from the bottom of my heart. Hey, and look, for all of you who are worried about this, get your mind off of this and go find you a veteran somewhere and buy their dinner, or take them some ice cream, or visit them in their home, or take them fishing or hunting, or do something. Get outside yourself and quit being so selfish about this. Hey, you're a great man. I love you, Wayne.
Absolutely love you too, Catfish. And look, after this is over, I'm going to come to Mississippi and we're going to go fishing. And
let's do it.
We're going to talk. And I can't wait to shake your hand. Man. And
all right. Look, I'll step away and let somebody else chat with you for a while. Look, it's great. I thank you so much.
God bless you. And thank you, man. Next caller. 907.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Wayne. How you doing?
Hey, who am I speaking to?
This is Tony from Alaska.
Yeah, I know this is Tony. I know. I just didn't want to get it wrong. I know it's Tony.
Yeah. Well, we've had a cold winter, but Alaska is still a beautiful place. Anchorage is the biggest city in Alaska, 275,000. And you know what? Being at the biggest city in Alaska, the beauty here in Anchorage is still amazing. So anyway, I can't wait till it warms up a little bit, but that's okay with us. We had a ton of snow this year, just a ton of snow. So much snow, I decided, hey, you know what? I might as well take some pictures so we can look at it next year. Anyway, I sure appreciate all that you do. Appreciate all the good information, and I enjoy the calls every time. Now, you know, can I say a few things? You know, the word guru started out to be a good word, and these other gurus made a bad reputation for the word guru. I mean, you know, we let them take that word from us. Let's not do that. You know, you know, it's like you know. The word Baptist. The word Baptist, it started out as a good word.
I love
the bad Baptist. Yeah. The bad Baptist made it a bad word. So, you know,
I don't know any bad Baptist, anyway. Tony. I'm a Baptist. I don't know any bad Baptist now.
Yeah. Anyway, appreciate all that you do. You know, what's amazing is God has brought me a long ways. I used to be a bum on the streets, believe it or not. I'm in my 50s now, but when I was younger, I used to be a bum on the streets here in Anchorage. And I thank God for saving me, saving my soul, putting my life back together, gave me a wife, a beautiful wife, and 11 beautiful children. God is so amazing. And then to come up with this opportunity, this great blessing, to me, that's only the grace of God on my life. And that's the power of God, too. You know, well, I have a sort of a comment connected to a question.
Okay.
And it is kind of long. One more thought about Maliki. You know, like the lady says, you know, how can he get away with it? He's not going to get away with it. And I like what you said, UN's going to get him. You know, it's like the devil. He keeps doing what he's doing, but he's still going to end up in the lake of fire.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, you know, nothing is going to be, there will be no stone unturned. So I do want to encourage everybody just to keep on going. And the funny thing is, many of us give up and we got the victory. You know, let's not give up. We got the victory. Amen. In the Lord and in everybody who has dinar is going to be a winner. Everybody is. Okay. Well, according to the CBI, you heard the article. They're awaiting approval from the government to do the RV. Of course, that's a direct, straight article from the CBI itself, and that should give us a lot of confidence. Now, this is just a hunch that I have. Do you think Iran would deter the RV at all? Are they invited to the Arab summit?
Who, Iran?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to be ostracized. That's the reasonable brothers. But just because the United States don't like them doesn't mean that that was a big thing last year, that Iraq's not going to invite them to that, the foreign minister and perhaps the president of that country. They're not going to not invite them. That's one of their neighbors.
Yeah, I remember seeing an article, the two worst nations in the world are Iran and Iraq. Isn't that something?
I would have said that 24 months ago, but one of them didn't change. Iraq's didn't change. And the only thing that's keeping them out of taking that place as one of the wealthiest nations is the fact that they hadn't turned on their currency. So people's behavior and attitudes are going to change towards them once they start sharing in the international community. But Iran has at least 10 or 15 years to go before they even thought of to be dealt with. So.
Yep. Now, you know, let me say something, which is, you know, for anybody who knows the Bible, if you read the Bible, if you study the Bible, I always try to encourage Christians to study the Bible. If you're a Christian, you ought to study the Bible. Study the Bible. That's what I always preach to everybody. Study the Bible. You got a Bible, use it, study it. Don't be so spiritually ignorant. Study the Bible. You know, according to the Bible, Iraq is going to be desolate pretty soon. So, you know, some people say, I'm going to save my dinars for 10 years down the road. You know, if you know your Bible, Iraq is going to be full of doleful creatures, satyrs, screeching owls, and stuff like that. So you better cash in within a year or two, or maybe a few years. Who knows how long they're going to last?
Absolutely.
But anyway,
that's a good point. Now, this is where I want to stop you. None of us knows God's time. For 1,000 years, it may be a day to Him. So we don't know His time, okay? And we have to be careful when we do place our interpretation on the living Word of God. So I'll tell you that I understand what the words say, but I cannot interpret God's space and timing. He's too big for me. I'm just a speck in His sight, okay? So for me to think that my little narrow mind could accurately interpret 100% of the word? I don't think so. I can't do that. Okay, I'm a Christian.
Yeah, we can.
I keep trying each and every day to make sure that I get better through the grace of God, through His grace. Okay?
Yeah.
Grace is sufficient. Okay? He is my increase. So, having said all that, Tony, I'm going to cut you off, and I'm going to wait till you call me again next time because I have to go to the next callers, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Next call. 310.
Oh, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Geronimo's grandma.
Hey, Geronimo's grandma. What's happening?
Okay, so I spoke with you, I think, last week. And,
week before last.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Okay, so I've been following the larger global picture, and originally the plan was that just the powers that be in this country would get their money back from, the money they spent on the war. And then through the Internet, all of us got to hear about it. We weren't supposed to, but we did. And
okay. Now,
we were able to jump in. However, it's become more of a global problem. And,
Wait. We're going to participate. We're going to have a conversation.
Right.
First, I need to stop you because the first part of the information is inaccurate. We didn't happen to find out about it. President George W. Bush signed an executive order giving us permission to participate. Okay, hold on. He did this from the very beginning so the taxpayers could participate in paying for this war. It wasn't an afterthought, okay? It wasn't.
You know what? You're correct, and I do remember that.
Okay. He did that from the very beginning so that we could all participate, okay, in the paying for this war, the financing of this war, and things of this nature, okay? So
correct.
I'll trust you to go forward. Go ahead.
Okay. So what apparently happened, though, is because of all the corruption around the world in the banking system and with these elite families and the Federal Reserve, which apparently went bankrupt on February 2nd, although they haven't announced that to us, there have been tons of arrests going on now, and including Timothy Geithner, he was arrested and questioned, and now he's under observation. Apparently Bill Gates, apparently 40 or 50 bankers around the world have stepped down.
Geronimo, Grandma, I'm gonna stop right there. Do you have a dinar question? Because let me tell you something. I'm an old MI guy, military intelligence, and none of what you just said is true. And there's not one U.S. official that's been arrested over corruption and our question dealing with corruption over the world currency and bank scandal. Not one. Nay, not one.
We're never going to hear about it. It's behind the scenes.
Wait, stop. That's not true, okay? So,
they have it listed.
I'm going to respectfully say that I like talking to you, and if you have a question about the dinar or something of that nature, I would entertain it. But other than that, I don't want to go any farther with this because it's not good and it's not true, okay? I'm telling you it's not, because if we have something called a freedom of information in this country, and that if any one of our publicly elected officials are arrested, it hits a blotter, just like anywhere else in the country, and his face will be put on TV. Okay?
They're not going to tell us. There'd be riots in the country.
It wouldn't.
Okay, you know what? You're unwilling to hear what I have to say, so there's nothing I can do.
No, only about that. I'm willing to hear anything else you have to say about the Lord or rather.
I am saying that it is going to take a little longer than you thought because.
Okay. Next question, 518. 518.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Wang Dang. This is Putty Tat. How are you? Putty Tat.
Putty Cat? I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Well, I was listening to your show, and you do such a great job. I would just want to commend you. It came up as a tweet from Alawi, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, that the national conference has been delayed due to whatever, conflict.
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't know if you knew that, but because it seems so smoky out there, I don't really know if it's even been scheduled yet.
Yeah, and you're right. We hadn't even got a final scheduled date. Matter of fact, they had postponed the last preliminary meeting committee for Tuesday of this week. So we did not have a final date. And, you know, Putty Cat, I love it because for me it's intriguing. They give us tidbits of real information. And then they'll act like a three-legged cat trying to cover crap for the next 4 days, trying to take it back. You know? So I've learned to watch these people and put together the real tidbits that they give us. Along with calls.
The hell out of the thing. Excuse my language, but they really do. They bring up something and then it's smoked over like, well, when is it? Now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I like it because my mind works like that. I really want to know, so I draw these pictures and I connect the dots. And that's the only way to deal with those people. You connect the real dots to the hard evidence they give you, and then you just sit back and consider the rest of it as mind chatter until they come up again and say, this is what's real, this is what we're giving you. And then you expect for them to try to take that back too. But it's too late. You've connected it to the other dot. And that's the way you have to handle these people because they're deep into propaganda. And they've been ruled by a dictator for a bunch of years, and they don't know how to act like a democracy yet and give the press real information without fear. So a lot of it is just general confusion and fear, but some of it is just propaganda that's being spent by the ruling party, Malik and his group, you know, the National Alliance. So, Putty Cat, I thank you for that bit of information, and we did not have a date, so I don't know how it could be postponed when we didn't have a firm date yet.
Oh, good. All right. I just want to know if there was like things I was kind of missing. Going, okay.
No,
I haven't seen.
No, ma'am, you got it right.
Okay. Well, thank you for your input on that because I figure you have more access to articles than I certainly do, or you're more diligent, and so are your team. So there we have it. The intrigue does continue to continue.
Yeah, and I promise you we'll have a national conference / national meeting, and then they're gonna go into the summit. They're gonna have it. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna get the zeros dropped. The cards gonna come out, and we're gonna have our 86 cents short.
Well, they sure know how to use bookends because they're pushing themselves right into one right now.
Oh, big time, big time. And before the conference fails, we're actually gonna see the Arab Summit canceled for all those that really want to know the truth. So, because the Arab Summit is going to cancel when these people realize that Iraq is not going to RV their currency, and they realize that Iraq does not have their security under control. And those other leaders are going to tell them, just like they told them last year, we're not coming there. It's a wrap. We're not going to do it. We're not coming. And there's a cutoff date for it. And last year they published it a lot. But this year I don't see it. And I think it gave them like a total of 13 to 17 days to have everything firm and done before the day of the conference, the summit. And I'm almost sure that, but I don't want to say which one, the 13 or the 17, but I know it was one of those amounts of days.
So the music is playing. Dun, 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 dun.
Yes, ma'am. And we're going to win. The shark is going to, we're going to win. So, and I did
thank you for your time. I don't want to keep you anymore. I know you have a lot of other callers, but I do appreciate your input. I think a lot of people do.
Putty Cat, did you hear what I said?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said I did see the Putty Cat.
Oh, yeah, you did.
All right, thank you. Next caller.
Bye.
479. 479.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, the question I have is about
who am I speaking to? Who am I speaking to?
Oh, you're speaking to Edith?
Hey, Edith.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Well, we appreciate what you're doing.
I'm glad to be here.
My question is about the smart card that you talk about. How will the denarians be able to use that like an ATM card?
You mean Iraqi people?
I don't understand the use of the smart card.
Yes, ma'am. But do you mean how will Iraqis be able to use it?
Well, who will be able to use it?
Okay, the Iraqis
is it for the Iraqi people or for anybody?
Yes, ma'am, the Iraqi people. We won't have anything but the North. Once they get the 86 cents, the zeros drop and load the money on the cards, that means that's the value of the dinar Okay? So when they buy, sell, trade internationally, you have to convert, either to that 86 cents. So that means that all the dinars that we have, we can go to the bank and turn them in for 86 cents per dinar. Okay? So once they assign a rate to that card, Edith, the 86 cents to that card, or RV, and gives them the rate of 420 or whatever, that's the rate that it's going to exchange at, okay?
Oh, I see.
So we'll never have one of those cards, Edith, you and I. We're not Iraqi citizens.
That's what I've been hearing about the smart card, and I just didn't quite understand. Did it relate to the dinarians here in our country using it, or what?
No, ma'am. Yeah, we don't have any access to that. That's not for us. That's for Iraqi citizens. Those are the only people in the world that's going to be able to have them. And that even the Constitution was amended to allow not the expatriates, but the people from Iraq that's been forced into other countries to have these cards also. And that's why the government Iraq had to do due diligence and deal with the fact that they had to know how many people was in exile. The UN forced them to find that information out. So when they start the revenue sharing, even those people that are still citizens that have been forced out of their country for political reasons will still get those smart cards and still get those benefits. And that's what I find so powerful. And that's another thing that I thank George W. Bush for, because he participated in that process and made sure that everybody got their share of the oil revenues.
Okay, the other question was, I hear you speak about 4 days wait. Now, you don't think the RV is just ready to come over the fence now?
Yes, ma'am. They can RV anytime Maliki forms his government and announces it to the world. Or else, hold on, Ms. Edith, anytime he activates Herbal, okay? So when he activates Herbal, Allow is going to take his seat, appointed 3 ministers, and Shabibi's going to RV this thing because the government's complete. Okay?
So that means any minute now?
Yes, ma'am. Anytime they're ready. In a minute, in an hour, whenever they're ready, they can do that. There's nothing stopping them. There's nothing stopping them from doing that part. Okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I needed to have that cleared up because the 4 days was throwing me.
No, that's any time. But now the only time you heard me state the 4 days, Ms. Edith, is that you have to listen to this. And I like to make sure that I keep things segregated and compartmentalized. Okay? The 86 cents is the dropping from the 3 zeros and all the HCL coming out. And the government's going to give us the 86 cents, okay? Now, I said because of what my source says over there, that after we see this 86 cents, Alawi's not going to, I stand corrected, Maliki is not going to allow that 86 cents to stand. He's going to go ahead and complete his government abruptly, and he's going to RV that currency, okay? I'm saying within 4 days of us seeing that 86 cents, he's going to do that. That's my opinion. That's from what I know, okay?
No, so now I understand. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So you can count on that, ma'am.
Okay, now I understand, so I appreciate your explanation. Now, I want to ask you, Tabini, am I saying it right?
Shabibi? Yes, ma'am, Shabibi.
Shabibi?
Yes.
Or Tabini? Which one you say have the power?
Talibani or Shabibi, which one you said? Look.
Okay, Talibani.
Okay. In Shabibi's world, Shabibi is untouchable. Shabibi is the controller, the president, the ruler, the CEO. He's everything on the top run of the CBI, and that's the Central Bank of Iraq, okay? Now, when you're talking about political power in the whole country of Iraq, Talibani is the man, okay? Talibani, I think that respectfully usurps power of Maliki, and I don't think he's ever disrespected Alawi or Barzani. But I think Talibani is not, if he's not the most powerful political figure in Iraq, he's the top 1 or 2. Okay?
Okay.
So that's different. Shabibi runs the central bank, and he's unmatched. Nobody can do him nothing, make him do anything he doesn't want to do. Nobody. Okay? He's autonomous. He runs his own thing. And
go ahead.
Talabani is the elderly statesman of the whole country. He's sort of like Teddy Kennedy used to be to the United States Senate. Okay, he's that powerful, and he's that big in real life. Okay.
I see. I need to understand that they were two different persons.
Yes, ma'am.
People. So they are.
Yes, ma'am. They are. Yeah.
Okay. And you're from Houston?
Yes, ma'am. I'm from Houston, Texas.
Oh, I'm originally from Texas.
What part?
32 miles south of Houston.
Okay.
You heard of Angleton, Texas?
Yeah, I know where Angleton at.
But it was in between that though. A rural. Okay. I lived in a rural area. I was born and raised on a farm.
Okay. Well,
and went to California from 17.
California. Okay.
And now I'm in Arkansas.
Now you're in Arkansas. All right.
Okay, well, thank you for your time, and we appreciate everything you're doing.
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you very much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Next caller. Bye-bye. 419. Next caller.
Hey, Wing Dang, this is Rex.
Hey, Rex, how you doing, man?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. Hey, I had several questions asked to me, and I wanted to relay it so you could put it out to the group and all that. Do you remember the article that came out right after they passed the budget in Parliament? They voted on it, and they said they were going to Parliament was going to take a break until March 6th. Do you remember reading that?
No, I don't. And Rex, the budget still hadn't passed. It's been approved, but finally,
I'm sorry.
And they're using a firm. They still haven't passed it yet. And when they pass it, we're still not sure that they're going to open it. Just like 2010, just like 2009, so on and so forth.
I should have said approved. The reason I was asked that, I'll look at that article again, but the thing that got me thinking was they had said that they were going to recess until like March 5th or March 6th. I'll try to find that article again, but I was thinking if Shabibi or Central Bank of Iraq or whatever is saying that the proposals in front of them waiting to vote on, if they were waiting till they came back into session or something, if that's the date we're waiting on for that actually be in front of them on the zeros.
Yeah. Well, that, to me, that's a good train of thought. Rex, like I told a caller last week, this is the way Najib operates. He's the president of the parliament. If Najib had an article that he felt was pressing before him, the parliament can be out of session, and Najib will call him back whenever at his own whim. So he demonstrated that before with a lot of issues last year. So whether they say they're on or off, they're still working. Even on these days that they communicate the fact that they might be missing, if you go to the Iraq, I'm going to put the Iraqi television site up in the chat room, in the Skype room, again tonight. And during the weekdays, let me give you a good time. I normally used to watch them at like 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock. They start broadcasting Parliament. And that's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon over there, 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon over there. And you'll see Parliament still working. So even when these guys say that they're leaving or are going to be adjourned, if Najib doesn't put out a formal letter stating that, they're not going anywhere.
Okay.
It's just like everything else you hear, So I'm going to make sure I post that television station back in the Skype room, and then this week you can watch it like I normally do when I have some off time.
Oh, that'd be a great resource.
Yeah, you see Parliament still working. And that guy with the bald head sitting under that big old gold medallion on the wall, that's Najib.
Right.
He's the president of the Parliament.
All right. Well, on one other question I had, we were talking about it. If it comes out not the full RV, and we're looking at 86 cents, where they remove the zeros, we would still have to see them released from Chapter 7 and recognized by the IMF for it to become a tradable currency for us to actually take advantage of it for anyone other than the currency traders. Is that not correct?
Okay. Now, this is what I have to correct in your statement because you were almost dead on it. The IMF doesn't have to recognize them for anything. The UN have to recognize them to go along with the statement you just made, okay? That's the UN. Okay. is the only one. IMF doesn't have any sanctions on Iraq. The UN has the sanctions on Iraq. And let me tell you, Shabibi, like I said earlier, Shabibi is working so closely with the UN. If he drops those 3 zeros, I guarantee you he got permission from the UN to do it.
Okay?
He's not going to do anything without their help to control Maliki. I promise you that. Because the UN is the one who told Maliki, before you RV that currency, you're going to complete your government and announce it to the world. They're the one that put that charge on Maliki. Okay?
All right. So you feel like it's going to be a chain of dominoes that are already pre-set up, and as soon as they do the first one, all are going to go boom, 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 boom. It could be a matter of minutes for all of them happening, from the 86 cents of zeros to the UN with the Chapter 7 to the RV up to 4 or 5 days later.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to. It's just going to be like a snowball. It's going to get bigger and bigger. But the thing that we have to be careful with, Rex, is the fact that the UN and the United States sitting there holding hands. Okay. Now,
right.
when Shabibi tells these two entities, okay, I'm ready to do this because the black market's killing my currency and about to destroy my economy, they are not going to prevent that man from saving his economy. Okay?
Right.
And,
that makes sense.
Dr. Shabibi is respected worldwide. Bar Alan Greenspan and the German, the dude that controls the German banks,
right.
His name escapes me right now, Von Holding, or however they say it. Those are the 3 most respected money men in the entire world. Shabibi is respected among his peer group highly. Okay? So when he tells the UN and the U.S., I'm doing this and it's to protect my economy, everybody's going to sign off. They're not going to not give him what he wants. They know that he doesn't want to make a dictator out of Maliki. And believe me, when he drops that 86 cents, the UN and everybody is going to be called Maliki and said, you make one false move, we're going to bury you.
Well, that's good news. That's good news. Keep them in line.
Yeah, that's the only fear they have. They don't want to make another dictator. So, Rex, it's a pleasure. And you got anything else?
Nope, that's it. I just really want to thank you and your crew. I think you guys have done a great job keeping us all informed, and keep up the good work.
Well, Rex, I thank you for helping, and I'll chat with you later.
All right, we'll see you.
All right. Next caller, 228.
Okay, my other questions, and I appreciate everything you've ever said, and but my next question is, since it's coming in, pretty much at the 86 cents, and I wanted to cash a portion of it with, lock in the rate with, let's say, Dinar Banker. So, and then if it's going to come higher, I would just hold back a portion of that and then just, cash in at the bank at the higher rate with a non-interest bearing account, or can you even elaborate on that at all?
Okay, Ms. Sue. No, I'm not going to tell you how to do that. It's personal. Okay, but look what I'm going to suggest. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know through what entity you're going to do it, but when it comes in at 86 cents.
Okay.
Just all I'm going to do, Ms. Sue, is I'm going to walk to the bank and I'm going to put probably just me 20 notes in the bank.
Okay.
Okay. And after that, that's going to allow me to start doing some business that I need to do.
Right.
Okay, I'm not going to be worried about the RV anymore because the money's going to start moving when the IMF gets involved. Okay. And I think Maliki is going to be in about the 4th day and he's RV that currency. So after I see the number that I'm comfortable with, Sue, that's when I'm going to take all my notes to the bank.
Okay.
And exchange them. But that's a personal preference for you and your husband.
I understand.
Out, okay?
I just, I need some money to be able to set up, the LLC.
Absolutely.
And to be able to maneuver. So.
Absolutely. Okay. That's a good word, maneuver. Good word. So,
well, I enjoy you, and we listen to you every Saturday, and it's just amazing the things that you can come up with. Okay.
Absolutely.
so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Next caller. 419. Big O.
Is this the Wayne Day, my brother?
What's shaking, cat?
I owe you an apology in the board.
Well, look, I'm not good on accepting apologies unless it comes from your heart. Other than that,
well, it comes from my heart because, I've seen this post from Scotty G, and I got it mixed up with Scooter. Isn't Scooter one of your mentors?
Yeah, Scooter was the cat that helped me to start educating myself towards this thing maybe even a little bit longer than that ago. And when he left to go do private business 14 months ago, I was sad. But, yeah, Scooter's a mentor of mine.
That's what I thought. I had the two names mixed up.
Yeah,
anyways, I got two questions. One for one of my colleagues here.
Okay.
And he's the guy that turned me on to this investment 1.7 years ago.
Okay.
And I want to read the whole thing, and then I want your take on it, and then I got one more.
Let's go, Big O.
And I know you're tired.
Let's go.
Okay, as I understand we, the U.S. and the UN, slapped Iraq with a programmed rate years ago to weaken them, to prevent them from buying weapons, etc. If that is true, wouldn't it make sense that when we then would simply retract the program rate and return their currency to its former rate, maybe allow an adjustment for inflation, this would prevent guessing where the rate should be. Just return it to where it was and then allow the world to drive the price to its proper value. What's your take on that?
That's great, and I got one word for you, and that's a powerful question. And if I was a sucker, I'd stumble all over it, but I'm not a sucker. Sovereignty. We gave them prematurely their sovereignty back, okay? So their sovereignty prevents us from sticking our hands in that cookie jar, okay? So now they have to figure out whether they're going to RIRV or simply drop the zeros and give us 86 cents. We no longer have a dog in that fight, okay? But if we would have not given them their sovereignty back and RV the currency first, then we could have structured the way the program went down, okay? Mm-hmm. And we didn't. So your buddy's going to absolutely appreciate my answer because that's the best way that it can be answered. If we wouldn't have given them their sovereignty back first, then we could have went ahead and reinstated the currency at 321. We could have done it. But instead,
I agree, because that's the exact answer I gave him.
Absolutely. You gave it to him absolutely right. You're dead on it. There's no other way for it to go down. Now, if we want to act like the imperialists that we are and want to dominate that fledgling democracy, yeah, we could have done some things, but that's not going to happen because that's not the current president's behavior, and it wasn't GW's behavior. We want to cut them loose, push them, nudge them from the back, and watch that democracy grow, okay? Because if we do this thing wrong, Big O, we're not going to create a democracy in that region. We're going to create an atmosphere and environment for all those countries not to become a democracy, okay? And that's why the United States. That's why the United States is being careful. And I admire our country. I love our government. I love our leaders, and I think they're handling that situation correctly.
Well, here's the second one. Okay, when they announce the 86 cents, you think 4, 5, maybe a week, 7 days, whatever, that'll be the RV, but the real RV will be coming in later from the Kurds.
No, I think the 86 cents is going to be, maybe they got it backwards, Big O, but it's right. The 86 cents we're going to get from the Kurds are dropping at 3 zeros, okay? And
all right.
And I said 4 days. I said, yes, the HCL. My wife's telling me HCL in the background. But so after we see the 86 cents, the 4 days is because of what the source on the ground says. That's in the know. Maliki is going to take past 4 days to cover his rear end and RV the currency, okay? So wherever it's been ticked up to in the 4 days, Malik is going to announce the government was formed and RV the currency. So we sitting at, I'm not going to speculate because then people will be saying Wang Dang said whatever, and all I want to do is be hypothetical. So I don't have that liberty. Big O.
I understand.
So whatever when we haven't made in the 4 days, Malik is going to make it to where it can go 25 cents higher than the Kuwaiti dinar, and that's it. He knows, Shabibi knows they can't go any higher than that. Okay?
And hypothetically, when that happens, we as Americans have roughly a week before our banks will let us cash in.
Absolutely not. We have roughly a matter of minutes and hours. Okay? Because
once it's quoted as, let's say, an international currency, we're good to go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the IMF's going to give the rate to the World Bank. The World Bank's going to send it to every trading house in this world. Tokyo, London, New York, all of the trading banks in the world is going to get them at the same time. And then according to their time region, they're going to tell their banks, okay, this currency is tradable at 420. And they're going to latch it into their system at the appropriate times. New York's going to do it at possibly 9:30 a.m. whenever they get it and say, okay, the Iraqi dinar is now an internationally traded currency, and this is the rate. And they're going to send the email out or the security information out to every bank in the country the way they normally do it. So
you make perfect sense, and you break it down to the common layman like myself.
Well, it's a pleasure, Big O. But once the big dogs release it, it's going to be off and running, player, and it ain't going to look back. I mean, they're going to do it. They're going to do it fast, you know.
Well, I know you're so tired, and I know you got to take a break, and I just can't understand how you can type, talk, and listen at the same time because I can't do one at one time.
Let me help you with this. I learned from my parents because my parents had 7 kids, and now I got 7 kids, but 3 of them are young adults, so I have 3 in the house. I have a set of twins and a singleton that's 5 years old. And anytime you can raise 5 girls and 1 boy, you learn to listen, tie shoes, stop the bad water from running, all at the same time.
I hear you. I got 4, and I know what you're saying.
Absolutely. So it's a pleasure, Big O. And I like
thank you, and thanks to everybody on the board. They're wonderful people.
You too, Big O. And hang in there with us, and I don't think we have much longer to go.
I'll holler at you later.
All right, peace, dear brother. Peace.
All right,
caller.
Peace.
Last caller. 817.
Hi, yes, this is Marcus from Dallas.
Marcus from Dallas?
Yes.
Hey, Marcus, speak up a little bit because I can't hear you, man.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you good now.
Okay. I am very, very new. I guess you might want to consider like a newborn baby in this thing.
Okay.
I am totally like a gnat in a hailstorm.
Okay.
I have no idea as to what's going on, what this thing is. I just heard from a friend to buy some of the DAR stuff.
Okay.
It's the first time I called you. For some reason, I don't know how I got your number. I saw it I guess I got it out of he gave me a dinar recap thing to look at, and I saw your number, and I decided to call it. And I'm like, I don't know where I'm at, where it's at, what I'm doing, nothing. I just need some kind of clarity as to all I keep hearing is people saying, oh, this thing is going to do, this is going to go soon.
Okay.
I just wanted to get some kind of clarity as to what did I stumble upon.
Okay. Check this out, Marcus. This is what you can do. You have a Skype account?
I think my son does, yeah.
Okay, just come on to Skype and type in Wang Dang-ism. Just Wang Dang with ISM on the back of it. And send us a contact request. And just put Marcus Dallas on that. Marcus Dallas. Let them know who you are. We're going to accept you into the room. And you can come in there and listen to the chat. And then you're going to hear us talk about a bunch of things. But for the short and skinny of it, this is where we're at. We're waiting on either the Kurds, they're getting ready to have a national conference or a national meeting, okay? And this comes from, it was thought up by Taliban and Alawi because the prime minister of Iraq kept jerking everybody's chain and not completing his government and doing a bunch of other stuff to stop this money from coming from the forefront, okay? So we're waiting for the Kurds to either open the budget by forcibly paying their bills and forcing the central government to pay the bills, to write the check to pay the bills, okay? The other avenue is that we're waiting on Herbal. If Herbal is instituted, there's a power-sharing agreement, okay, that the United States put in place for the Iraqi prime minister to share power with Alawi. He's the leader of the Iraqi bloc, all right? And then once he decides to share power with Alawi, Alawi becomes the head of the NCSP. So you got a lot of reading to do. And once Alawi takes his seat, Alawi has promised that he's going to set up the 3 ministers within 3 days. Once those ministers take that place, then security, the interior, defense, and security ministers, that's going to make the GOI complete. Maliki has announced to the world that the GOI is complete, and Shabibi has promised us that once the GOI is complete, that he's going to RV the currency, okay? So that's where we're at. We're actually in a waiting stage for this currency to be RV'd and or RI'd, or the 3 zeros to be dropped. Which bills do you have? Do you have 25K notes or 10K notes?
I have a 25K note.
Sweet. Okay. You see those 3 zeros on the back of that 25?
Yes.
They're actively getting ready to drop them. If they drop those 3 zeros, that's going to give us 86 cents per every one of your 25,000 dinars. Okay? 86 cents per every one of your 25,000 dinars. All right?
Okay.
And that's what they've been communicating with us now solidly for like 3 weeks that this is a done deal and it's done. And we're getting ready to do it. But I've been waiting for this for 7 years. I thought I was going to wait 10, but I've been waiting 7. So, to me, it's through the grace of God, I knew it was coming, and it's going to culminate well. To you, you're going to be wealthy, and hopefully you protect yourself and your new investment. So that's where we're at. We're actually waiting for the Iraqi government and or the central bank to give us an RI or RV and or the 86 cents because they dropped the 3 zeros. And that's what they've been threatening us with for the last, I'm making it funny, they've been threatening us with that for the last 3 weeks solid now. And I've been saying it's been coming for a year. So, and the intel that I have is saying that we're getting ready to get the smart cards. And so that they both go together because now you have articles coming out saying that there are 3 successful ways or the best ways to electronically transfer money internationally. And the other 2 I don't discuss because I've never heard of them. But the second one they said was the best option is the smart card. So now they've brought the information out about the smart cards, and I announced that we should have the smart cards a couple Saturdays ago, and then last Saturday, and then this week on Wednesday or Thursday, they gave us the article saying that the smart card was the best way for its citizens to handle their money in country and internationally, and that they would possibly be putting them out, not possibly, but we'll be putting them out soon. So everything's coming to an end, and for you, abruptly, which is a good thing. Okay? So you just started reading a lot. There's some good newspapers out there, and when you come into Wang Dang-ism, ask people to say, please give me like Currency News Hound. Okay, put that in your chat, in your Google Currency News Hound. Okay, and that's going to give you a lot of news about Iraq. Okay, and then start finding your way to a couple Iraqi newspapers, like AK News. That's an Iraqi newspaper. Okay, and just start reading each and every day and watching your investment. And when they flip the switch on this thing, hopefully in the next short amount of time, you'd be wealthy. You just learn, go to find a bank. I'm not going to tell you which bank. Take the cash in, present it to them. It's just going to be like any regular exchange. And if it comes out 86 cents, Marcus, don't do all your money at first, okay? Just take a couple of bills and get comfortable with moving around. And then you wait for a full-blown RV or RI, okay?
How do I split that? It's like one bill, one note.
Okay, that's all you got is one note?
Right.
Okay, so if you have one 25K note, did your friend, okay, I don't want to know where it come from. Okay, look at this. Okay. The 125K note, you just take it to the bank when it's time, when you find out that the currency has RV, okay? 86 cents times 25,000 is what the bill's going to be worth, okay? 86, 125K note.
It's 21,500, Wayne Dang.
Okay, 21,500. So that 25K note at 86 cents is worth $21,500. So you know what to expect when you go to the bank, okay? And if you had an account at that bank for a long time, you talk to people and say, I don't want to pay a spread because this is what I have, and I was blessed to have this. And they have the right to drop that spread, but they're not going to drop that 1% federal tax. You can forget that. I've been through that twice. They're not going to drop that. Okay? So that's the best I have for you right now, Marcus. I hope you come to Wang Dangism and just get to know people, be patient, ask a lot of questions, and I hope that your wait in this investment is not long. Okay?
You said something about a spread.
That's at a bank. When you go to the bank, okay? Let's say at RV's they give us 86 cents, okay? The bank may try to say, okay, I'm only paying 82.9%, okay? So they done stole 3 of your pennies, all right? So you're going to have to negotiate for that, okay? So hopefully you have an account that you've been having a long time so you can tell that banker, look, you can take that spread and lump it. I'll take my money somewhere else. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the bank saying, I want to charge you this for handling your money, okay? Now, Wayne ain't not going to pay that, or else I'll shut all my accounts down and go somewhere else.
Okay. All right. I heard you. I was on the phone and listening to you talk. You were saying something about a meeting.
Yes.
They were supposed to have some kind of meeting and then a summit.
Oh yeah, the national conference / meeting. Yes, that's supposed to be coming up shortly. Actually, it was supposed to be at the beginning of February, and we haven't seen it yet. So they keep postponing it. Malik keeps pushing it back, changing the name of it, but it has to happen because then they won't have the summit. The summit is the Arab summit, where all the leaders from all Arab nations come to Iraq to discuss their economies, their country's security, and all this stuff. Okay? So where we expect to get our money from, Marcus, is in the national conference and national meetings because that's where it comes to a head. Okay? They brought this whole thing to a head. Taliban and allow it form this meeting in this conference. Okay? So that's getting ready to go down. And that's why we know that we're going to wind up with Herbal and HCL.
So when they have that conference, then they're going to have what you call a Herbal and
no, that's what should come out of it for us. Okay? That's what's going to give us the 86 cents. All right?
So
in that conference. Okay? It's already done. We just need to wait for them to announce it.
So you said they're not going to cancel that meeting?
No, they're not going to cancel it. They keep pushing it back. They pushed it back a couple of times, and you got a lot of people saying that they're going to cancel it, all kind of stuff. It's not going to get canceled. We just don't have the date that it's supposed to take place yet, okay? So we're still waiting for the date that it starts, all right?
So
and then the whole process.
Should I wait for 86 cents, or you said it was going to be like what was it, like you said $4 or something?
For what?
For that revalue or
if they revalue, if it comes out of full blown RV, we should see 420. That's my thoughts. Okay, but the actual numbers say 321 plus 20%, no higher than 25 cents above the Kuwaiti dinar. Okay, that's the 412. But I'm saying 420 because of the people that I talked to and the way it should go. Okay.
Should I wait for that, or should I?
No. Yeah, you can do it any way you want. I can't tell you how to do that, Marcus. That's a personal thing. Okay. But I wouldn't settle for the lowest number. I wouldn't settle for 86 cents wholeheartedly when I only have one bill and I know that the $4 is somewhere down the road. Because at $4, that's roughly going to be, one bill is going to be what? 82? 360 above. I think I'm going to just round up 82. Get it, River? Am I saying that right? Probably 82,000 at what, 360 per note? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So now you stand a chance at your 125K note being worth $82,000. So you do the math, Marcus, whether you're turning at 86 cents or wait for the 420. Okay? I can't help you with that one. All right. So it's a pleasure, Marcus. And I have to shut it down now. I'm getting all the cues to shut it down. So it's a pleasure, and don't be a stranger, all right? Go to Wang Dangism and Skype. Okay? Or you can contact me at wangdangnews@gmail.com, all right?
All right.
All right, peace, dear brother.
Thank you.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father. Okay. Sorry, I apologize. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for being God. I thank you for your mercy, grace, your love, your joy, and your peace. I thank you for all the things that are good and kind and of thou. I thank you for being more powerful than any enemy that I can imagine. Dear Heavenly Father, bless the conversation and everyone that was under the sound of my voice. Allow us to prosper, to guard and protect that which you bless us with. Have mercy upon our souls. And we thank you for the risen Christ. Hallelujah and amen. River Girl.
Amen. Yes.
Do you want to say anything, or can we shut it down and you're going to give me a call?
I'll call you, and it was a great call, as always. I think you answered a lot of questions for folks tonight. And everybody should be excited about everything we've talked about.
I am. If they have any problems, you know what they can do, River Girl? Send me all their dinars and relieve themselves of all their problems. I'll take care of the dinars for them.
Okay, only if you split them with me.
But God bless everybody. I love y'all for being there. And River Girl, just call me and we'll talk.
Okay, sounds good. Good night, everybody.
All right, bye-bye.